Hi everyone, it's Sloan Rhodes here. I have a question today to add to my Q&A series that I'm doing here on YouTube, and it's also available on my audio podcast. So today I have a really interesting question from Beth, and she's asking about dreams. I'll read you a little bit of the question. I'll kind of paraphrase it. So a friend of hers is having a dream later in life. She's later in life. She's in her 60s, and the dream for about the last 4 years has been a recurring dream in which a person appears. And so Beth's question is, should her friend take the situation seriously? And how much importance do I place on dreams for spiritual and intuitive development, and why? So I think it's a really fascinating question. I happen to have a master's degree in psychology. I completed my doctoral studies, and I've participated in dream tending workshops. I've kept a dream journal, and it's a very different experience working with dreams from the mind, from dream analysis, to the spiritual understanding of dreams. And so Beth's question to me truly is a spiritual one. How can her friend work with this dream? What does it mean? So I would always encourage you, when you are investigating your dreams, playing with dream analysis, keeping a dream journal, to, of course, go to books and talk to your therapist or whomever you're working with for your dreams. But before you do that, ask what the dream means to you, as opposed to seeking an answer outside of yourself. Because you hold the answers. It would be impossible for you not to know on some level what the dream means to you. Because sometimes if we go to a book or we go to another person to analyze our dreams for us, they have their own overlay as to what it means to them that they may be putting on to you. So first and foremost, if you have a dream that feels significant to you, then it is. I place quite a bit of importance, if you want to call it that word, I guess, on dreams. Because when we consider dreaming from the spiritual perspective, it's another way that we can work through and process and receive information without the resistance from our mind, our ego's perspective when it's in the awakened state during the daylight hours or whatever it may be. So there's a lot of information that comes in through the dream state that I find can be really, really helpful. But what often occurs is that people will have a dream that maybe be a recurring dream, or it just feels really, really important to them, but they're not sure why, and then it becomes a source of frustration, right? So rather than kind of go down that road, which is very easy to do, and even if you have gone down that road, you can always, come back to the present moment with your dream, and you can say, all right, what does this mean to me? Where within me, my understanding of me, where do I already hold the answer to what this means for me? And you can journal about it, you can look things up, but going to yourself first is a powerful step to working spiritually with what it means for you. Because it may be, in her friend's case, that she is connecting with some aspect of herself, showing up in the form of her dream, in the form of a male individual in her dream. It could be that is her, her friend, tapping into alternate timelines of existence with herself as a man. It could be someone from a different lifetime trying to connect with her. There's so many ways that it can come in, and it can mean none of those things. What's important is what it means to her, what your dreams mean to you. So I would start there. And one of the ways that you can work with the dream is to go into how you feel when you experience the dream. If you're able to tap into that, do you feel afraid? Do you feel excited? That is important information for you. Yes, I put, again, quite a bit of, for lack of a better word, importance upon dreams in terms of spiritual development and intuition, because they're coming up for a reason. So if you bring it up, if it's important to you, then it has import. to your spiritual development. There's no, from my perspective, and always trust your own heart, about this. From my perspective, there's not one meaning, there's not one way, there's not one thing that it means. It always means something different to the individual who is experiencing the dream, who is connecting to the dream, and who's open to receiving the messages that the dream may be trying to convey. I know for myself personally, I travel far and wide in the dream state, and I don't look at it necessarily as trying to get information or receive information. For me, it's just part of the experience, the spiritual experience of this existence, and how I can tap into other timelines of existence and other experiences of the self, let's say. So I want to talk a little bit about intuition as well. Sometimes we have precognitive dreams. Sometimes we dream about departed loved ones. They seem to come to us in the dream state. Again, from my perspective, this occurs because we're more open in the dream state. There's less resistance, less fear. And even when you have a bad dream, you're able to work through levels of fear more quickly in the dream state because there's no resistance to having that fear. You're experiencing the fear in a very raw way. It's not pleasant, of course, but you're able to work through it, levels of fear, more quickly often in the dream state than you would be able to when you're awake, because you're more on guard, let's say. So it may not be fear of fire necessarily if you're having a dream of fire. It may show up that way in the dream, but it could be fear of something completely different, but you're working through levels of fear. So let me just look at her email again and see if there's anything else I want to say about that. So it's interesting the way that this is worded. Should she take that kind of situation seriously? I would say not that it's meant to be taken seriously, but that it is pointing her into a deeper connection with her spiritual self. It may be showing up repeatedly in order to get her attention. I think I've talked about this in my Q&A recording on repeating numbers and things like that, and dreams, because a lot of times when something comes up repeatedly, it's trying to get our attention. Not necessarily to make you do something or to tell you something, from my perspective, but often just to let you know that you are more than who you think you are. To let you know that you are connected beyond this incarnation. So it may be showing up repeatedly for this woman. Again, I don't know her, I haven't spoken to her, so I don't know the whole context of this, if she knows the person or who showed up in her dream. I don't think so, because it's a recurring character as it's described here, but I don't know anything about the characteristics of this character. But I think, as I kind of feel my way into it and understand it, and I use my analytical mind, of course, as well, I think and feel that it's more that it's trying to show her, point her in the direction that there's more than what she thinks is going on. She's connected to a myriad of experiences and energies that she, as who she knows herself to be now, can't quite imagine or understand yet. So it keeps showing up. So one of the ways she can maybe work with it is to talk to it, talk to the character. And you can do this too if you have a similar kind of situation, or sometimes people have an animal show up, or they call it their animal totem or their animal spirit guide, this kind of thing. And you can work with it and play with it and say, yes, what, hello again, and what is it where do I hold some version of this message within myself already? But also, is there something specific you are trying to convey to me? How can I work with you more? And you can journal, you can do stream of consciousness, you can even kind of just, get some watercolor and just kind of put some watercolor on the page, not trying to draw anything or paint anything specific, and kind of see what comes up. Sometimes a color or a brush stroke will help you open up to more of the meaning, But truly it is about the meaning for you and not what I say or anyone else or any dream book or any psychologist or anything like that. It's what does it mean to me? What does it mean to the individual who's having the dream? If it means something fearful to her, that's good information, right? She can look at it, since it's not someone she knows, she can look at it as an archetypal figure, an archetypal character in whatever it represents. Again, I don't know what the figure is or the character is, but so there's a lot of ways to work and play with it. But to get back to Beth's question, which is from a spiritual perspective, how important is it to work with your dreams and listen to them and to keep a dream journal? I would say it depends on the individual, and it depends on how hard it's knocking on your spiritual door, so to speak, to get your attention. It's always trying to get your attention. Whenever something comes up repeatedly, you're being asked to pay attention in that moment. Pay attention to what's going on. Pay attention to where you can expand beyond your understanding of the simple explanation. Can you go deeper into it? It's a game to play. It's something for you as an individual to explore. I find dreams fascinating. It's been interesting. I don't keep journals anymore, but I used to keep a dream journal, and I would go back and go, wow, that was really interesting that I had that dream at that time. And I can see sometimes from a different perspective what that dream was trying to show me. So for instance, for many people, if they're going through a transformation, they may dream about snakes. Very common experience. Snakes as a symbol of transformation due to the fact that they shed their skin, this kind of thing. So anyway, I hope that you find that helpful. If you have any other questions about this, please do email me or write your question in the comments below. I don't know if I've addressed it exactly as it was intended to be answered, but I guess that is my answer, so that's exactly how it's meant to be. But anyway, I wish everyone much love, and I will see you on the next video at your private appointment or over on the podcast, where all of my videos are available in audio format for your convenience. Much love.